What's up, everybody? How we doing? It's Wero. This is locked in, and you guys have a pretty good idea what this show is about. Today we got I don't know if it's Manu or Manu Da Great. I think maybe we'll find out. Yeah, he just gave me a thumbs up, so we're gonna run with that. Manu Da Great. We're gonna have him out. Let's do it, man. My man, how bad did I just butcher that name?
Nah, no. I've heard it a lot worse. You did well. And the spelling's kind of off, but just for reference, think of like Manu Ginobili.
Okay. Oh, okay. Got you. Manu Da Great. Is that your first name?
No, my first name is Devin.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I asked that. I'd be messaging you on Facebook. I don't know why I just asked that right now. I'm tripping. Okay, so yeah. So first question: how old are you?
1 second, hold on.
You good, fam? Wear condoms.
I'm 22 years old.
22. Okay, young. How old is that? Your daughter?
Yeah, she's a year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay, so you making babies from the gate, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
Gotta give me a reason to get out there and win.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. Every single pro fighter that ever made it real big started out right where you at right now, man. So,
yes, sir.
So 22 years old, bro. And you are where you living at right now?
North Fort Myers, Florida. It's
Florida.
Basically the north side of Fort Myers, Florida. We're close by Naples. I'm 2 hours from Miami. We're just on the other coast of Miami, basically, for reference to people who don't know.
Below Tampa.
Yeah, below Tampa. 2 hours from Tampa, 2 hours from Miami.
Okay, and you've been legitimately doing your thing lately. So like I said before, this podcast is not specifically just about your fighting. It's about you and who you are and everything. And so let's get into it, man. Where were you born and where'd you grow up?
I was born right here. I'm born and raised in the same city, Fort Myers. The gym I fight out of is in Fort Myers. It's like 20 minutes away. It's just over the river. We got a river in our town that kind of separates North Fort Myers and Fort Myers. And I grew up around here. I grew up with Florida Boy. If you know me, you know Florida Boy is with me everywhere. Train in the same gym. We wrestled together in high school. And to be honest, it's kind of where all the combat sports stuff came from. He started it when he got done wrestling in college. And he's a hungry person, so the gym was never enough. So he was just like, hey, let's grapple, let's wrestle. We used to be wrestling partners in high school. Let's do it again. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, the striking stuff looks kind of fun too. So let's try that. So I don't know. It's just getting the first taste of it. I tried to message local promoters and they didn't. I was a nobody. You know what I mean? I had never even fought in street beefs. I was just some guy who was friends with a guy who was being legitimate about amateur fighting, but they didn't want to even hear from me or explain the process of how to go about it, which is basically just getting a gym, man. I mean, you can get a fight being amateur training outside of a gym, but your best bet if you want to compete is to just get in a gym. So then I just fought for street beefs. I was lucky enough. The timing was perfect. They had a pop-up event in Tampa. It was literally like a month after I got turned down from multiple promotions. Ones that the one I hold a title for. He's such a good guy. We're really cool now, but when I was messaging him, he kind of gave me a cold shoulder because, like I said, I'm just a random guy saying that I can fight and I train and looking back at it now, I probably sounded really foolish. But yeah, man, it was perfect timing. Tampa pop-up event came around, and then I don't know. I went out and did my first fight, and it just kind of. I've played sports all my life. It's like a rejog of everything that I've ever done and known all my life. And it was like I don't know. I fell in love with it. I took 2 fights my first day, MMA and a boxing match, and I won both of them. And then they decided to keep coming back to Tampa, so I took 2 more fights and took 2 more fights the same day as those fights, and I had a combined record of either 5-0 or 6-0. And then they basically told me, look, man, you're out here dominating the yard. If if you have the availability to come to the OG yard, we really want you to fight for a title. And that opportunity just like I had already fell in love and like it gave me like an outing. Physical exercise is really good for mental health and everything, and being someone who played sports all my life. And I had hurt my knee. That's what stopped me from wrestling. So I didn't have that physical outing for a long time in my life. So between it just being good for where I was at that point in my life, and then the opportunities just coming because I was enjoying the hard work. It didn't seem like hard work because I enjoyed it so much. It just the doors opened so fast. Before I knew it, I was fighting for a title in street beefs. Had only been training for like 6 months, and I give all the credit in the world to Florida Boy because he told me, he's like, I'm not gonna let you go out there and I'm not gonna let you get beat up. I'm gonna make sure you're prepared. And he would dog me out. And I mean, my cardio was nowhere near what it is now. I pride myself on my cardio. I think it's won me some of my fights, and I think the fights that it didn't win, it was my pace that I was able to keep and push is what made me be able to get the finish. My cardio wasn't what it was, and there was a lot of hard nights just on the mats on the back porch, and he was just pushing me. So give credit to him that I've been so successful. But because of that, I mean, the story tells itself. I beat Menace Mike the first time, and it was controversial because he said I poked him in the eye. So after I beat him the second time, I had already been discussing trying to fight Sensation, and I couldn't get the fight locked in. So then me and Beach fought for his title, and I beat Beach. And I took a couple matches in between then in what was supposed to be me and Sensation's fight, which still hasn't happened. And I'm hoping and praying it does happen before I go pro, because with the way my amateur career is looking, it's not going to be another year or two before I go pro. It's hopefully going to be 6 months to a year. And I just kept being successful. And in that time that I had started actually like, the street beefs community is a big part of it, man. What's up, Sunshine? Sunshine's one of them. Esteban, Tricks, people that I've never met in person, that just watch it, that don't even compete, messaging me and talking about how I'm an inspiration. It made it go from something that I was prideful in, and it was fun and enjoyable, but it was like recreation basketball. I did it with my friends. It was fun to go compete, and I don't like to lose no matter what sport I'm playing. But like once I seen that, and then I realized my true potential in it all, I finally listened to Joey and started going to the gym with him. And I mean, if you pay attention to anything that I post, I train with Nico Price, a UFC fighter. I've had Tito Ortiz in our gym before. We have 4 belt holders at this Leo Code promotion. We have 25 through 55 completely locked down. We just have a lot of good guys in the gym, man. And
sounds like a lot of talent in there.
What was that?
So it sounds like a lot of talent in there. How old were you when you started wrestling? Like, what age did you start wrestling?
I was 15 years old. I wrestled 1 year in high school, and I tore my ACL.
Oh, okay.
But I stayed around it, though, and I really enjoyed it more than I did football, which I played from like 5 years old all the way to high school. I played basketball for fun more than any other sport. I really enjoyed wrestling, like the real physicality of it and everything like that. And like wrestling to me is the one sport that the grind doesn't lie more than any other sport. Talent and skill, they don't get you very far in wrestling. It's the hard work, it's the grind, it's the mental strength. That's what wins a wrestling match. So I think that is kind of what makes our gym great, is because we have a base of mostly wrestlers. We have 3 wrestlers from my local high school that I went with, me, Florida Boy, and another fighter. One of our other champs is a wrestler. Oh, four from that high school. Yeah, I forgot. We got a younger guy that wrestled a few years below us. He's like 19. He plays 4th in states. He's in the gym training with us now. We just got a lot of very talented young guys. And we train wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and boxing. So we have a little bit of time for everything. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
You're good, my man. Kids be crazy. I got 5 now, and they ain't that young, but they still be loud sometimes.
Yes, sir. Daddy duties. I apologize. I'm back. But yeah, man. So we train everything, but we have a lot of wrestlers in the gym, and our wrestling coach is our coach who's the most personable with the fighters and does all the matchmaking for us and everything like that. So I'd say like that's a big thing of our gym is we're very like wrestle mindset heavy, like not even wrestle heavy, even though we started as a boxing gym, and a lot of our guys have submission wins. It's funny. A lot of the other like gyms talk to us about it, about how before we transitioned to Fight Me Combat Sports, we were Syndicate Boxing Club, and we were clearing like fight promotions, like 4 for 4, all fighters win by submission, and then we're Syndicate Boxing.
Yeah, it's that wrestling, man. It's probably one of the toughest sports to do, in my opinion. Like most sports, you're moving your body around, but in wrestling, you're moving yourself and a whole nother human being. That's your weight around the whole time. I mean, it's nuts the amount of cardio that takes. I don't want those problems for sure. That's way too much. Sorry, I don't know.
Well, I think not only that, because that's a huge part of it, but I think the knowledge of weight distribution. Because me, like I'm a strong guy. I fight at 135, and I would like to say I'm a big 135er. But I think what really wins in my grappling situations is my knowledge of like weight distribution and like how to like take away your vocal points of strength. And I learned that through wrestling. Jiu-jitsu's helped a lot too, more with the legs. But like controlling someone's upper body, like you don't necessarily learn that in jiu-jitsu unless you're like putting them in a lock or you're doing something in which you could probably get struck in. But in wrestling, it's just the knowledge of weight distribution transfers over so well that I have easy time taking down much bigger opponents in the gym sparring and stuff like that it's almost surprising, but the timing and then the weight distribution is everything between the trips. Because I'm not big on shooting. I don't like to shoot a lot. I like to tie up and do all the trips and stuff. And no matter how big you are, if you have 2 legs to the table and I slide one out from under you, you're gonna go down.
You're gonna fall. Yeah. So let's talk about you when you were younger. And technically you're still younger right now. You're only 22, but let's talk about when you were growing up. What kind of you said hobbies were football, basketball? Because I'm from Florida too, and it sounds very much like my childhood.
Yeah. All right. So when I was younger, I grew up in definitely. I'll let you out so you stop whining. I definitely grew up in a more poor household, but we were very big family oriented, and my brother started playing football when he was real young, so I kind of grew up at the football field. So it was it would have almost been odd if I didn't start playing football at like 5 years old at like the very young age cutoff. So we kind of just grew up at the football field, whether it was normal season or we would do spring season. My brother had played like baseball and soccer and stuff, and I never really got into any of that. I just liked contact sports, football, and I was always the younger brother that was trying to hang out with the older kids and play football with the older kids, and would be I would have to be tough because of how rough they were. And don't get me wrong, the age difference wasn't that big. It's only like a 4 or 5 year difference. But when you're 7 to 12, they're big kids compared to me.
Yeah.
So that mentality definitely stuck for a long time.
Yeah. Somebody asked what's your age? 22, I believe you said, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be 23 this year.
So when you're younger, you're running around the football field with your older brother. You're learning it. You're enjoying it. What was your personality like? Were you an angry kid? Were you just a fun kid running around with your shoes off, just hanging out?
I was definitely an angry kid. With growing up in like a poor household, and I actually And it's not. It seems like a touchy subject, but I don't mind talking about it. I actually like talking about it because it's a big inspiration for like what I do. Lay down, beautiful. Come on. But I lost my mom to overdose in 2021 or 2020. It was around the cutoff for that year. I'm fuzzy on the actual date, but drug use was like very, very predominant in my household when I was a kid. So between being poor and knowing that the little bit of money we had, hold on, I'm gonna go put her in her bed real quick.
Okay. That's rough. That's just a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago. Yeah, what up, Sam K? Yeah, good times. I don't know what to talk about. It's so like when you leave, I don't know what to talk about.
I
I just
apologize.
no, you good. That's on me. I'm the host, so I should be able to say something. But I just kind of stare at the screen and just make sounds. But yeah, so what I was saying though is that's very very tough. That's just a few years ago. So yeah, it seems like it would be tough to talk about. How many people were in your household?
Growing up, my mom and dad were together until I was 16 years old. And it was just me, mom, dad, and then I have an older and a little brother. I'm the middle child.
Okay. Did
Um,
they separate before or after your mom passed?
they separated
Or
before, and it was because of the drug use. She was very good at hiding it for a while because it had stemmed from a car accident injury in which she was taking pain medication. And then the addiction started, and then it moves on to bigger and bigger things when it's not addressed properly. So
yeah,
that's what happened. And that's another reason why I don't really mind talking about it because as much as I have sympathy for anyone that's dealing with addiction because it's a horrible thing and I do look at it like it's a sickness. Um, I know that my mom didn't necessarily choose to do what she was doing. She was put into a situation in which she had to and then form the addiction through like actual prescriptions. But in any sense, it did get bad, and that's why they had separated. Um, and back to me saying I was an angry child, I was very aware of what was going on at a young age. And I didn't have the consciousness to think of it being bad. It was almost normalized in my household. So once I was aware in like 13, 14 years old, I would want to be around my mom while she was like around those type of people, whether she was making transactions or doing whatever she was doing, because I felt more comfortable protecting her in that environment and not understanding that she shouldn't be there. I mean, it's not, and I know it's not my responsibility as a kid in any sense at all. She was the parent, but I definitely put myself more into situations than I should have, and then should have been allowed at a young age. So I like to think of it on a positive note. Like I got to see because my brother ended up forming addictions too, that I got to see everything not to do in life, and was able to somehow persevere what seemed to was going to be me through my older brother and not do it. But yeah, that was 2000. I was born in the year 2000, so it's easy to track things by age. So that was 2016, and the year that they got a divorce was the same year I tore my ACL. Um, so it wasn't a good year, but
yeah,
that
that's
goes
a tough
hand in
year.
hand with the fact that because of the divorce, they didn't have insurance, so I was never able to get the proper surgery on my knee. And I don't know if you've watched my fight with Beach,
Yeah,
but I had a knee problem in that fight, and my knee
yeah,
hasn't done it since that fight. I've been going to our sports doctor from the gym and everything like that. But my knee used to like slide out of place, and it like
yeah.
I wouldn't have any tears in the MCL, LCL, or meniscus. I would just have to slide it back into place. And I've been told
That's
from our
lucky.
yeah,
That's
no, and I've
very
been
lucky.
told from our sports doctor that when he does the resistance test on my ACL, he doesn't feel the resistance there. So he thinks that like there still is no ACL intact, but
Yeah.
he has personally knows professional MMA fighters that have persevered the problem until it either got worse or until they were in a comfortable enough spot to take 9 months to a year off.
Yeah.
And I train every day, and I train very, very hard. I mean, I have to accommodate certain things. I do bike work instead of road work. I used to love to run. Started getting rough on my knee, so I was doing a lot more bike work. I'm big on yoga, stretching, ice baths, cold showers to get blood flow. Just big things on that. And I'm big on eating healthy, taking care of your body, and it'll take care of you. And that's definitely helped a lot with my injury, I think. I don't think I would be able to do what I'm doing right now if I was eating fast food and everything like that.
No, definitely not. Like it sounds like you have it under control in that regard. Like for sure, take care of your body. I'm almost 20 years older than you are, and I've got a lot of miles. I've torn both ACLs and meniscus, and like if you can operate without getting it fixed, I mean that's more power to you. But if you get a chance to get it fixed, and they say rest, make sure you rest. Like, take the time to let it heal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I made a few mistakes when I initially tore it because I wasn't able to get the proper things. I was told what to do and was, young and dumb and didn't listen. And I went and tried to just play like basketball and shoot around like 6 months off of my injury.
Yeah.
And I knew I shouldn't have been out there, but sitting in the house drives me insane. I can't do it. I'm the type that I get up like 5:30, 6 o'clock for work every morning. So on the weekends, I'm up at 6:37 latest. I just got to get up and do something. So I went out there and I was shooting around, and I remember like the rebound was coming towards me. So I took 2 quick steps and grabbed it, and then went for a layup. And then as soon as I land, my knee just gave in, and I know I think I think there was a possibility that it was like a partial tear, and I finished tearing it there, because after that, everything that I'd gotten between range of motion, ability to put weight on it, and all that, I had lost it all and had to rehab my knee. And YouTube Academy, man. I don't care whether you're changing the oil on your car, fixing a tire, or trying to rehab an ACL. YouTube Academy. As long as you're understanding that some people go on there and say anything, and then there's actual people with PhDs and real doctors and physical therapists on there, and you do have to filter through some BS videos. But YouTube Academy is great, man.
It really is. I'm teaching myself jujitsu. I got my first MMA fight in August. I'm teaching myself jujitsu with YouTube Academy. So trust me, YouTube's the way to go. And I mean, I've gotten through jobs. Like I'm hired on the companies. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just YouTubed everything. For real.
Yeah.
I talk a big game into that job, and all of a sudden be like, oh shit. So we were talking earlier about some interesting stories in your life, and you are from Florida, so I'm assuming you probably got some fairly interesting stories.
Yeah. Let's start with the one. All right, so we had mentioned, not the best childhood growing up, angry kid. I like to fight. And granted, I was this kid who swore he could beat anybody up. I was real small. I never got more than 150 pounds until I started training for MMA all my life. I just love to fight people. That was a reputation of mine. Me and Florida boys, being friends all our lives, got into a fist fight in our high school cafeteria. Just a hothead and didn't take disrespect well. I didn't understand that when you respond to disrespect in that type of way, you're almost showing more of yourself than you are anything else. I'm big on like self-control, and martial arts helped me a lot with that. But with that being said, what made me really want to also dedicate like my time and stuff into fighting in the gym is I got stabbed. I don't know how well you can see it with the light.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me solo you real quick. Yeah, it looked like I can see it pretty clearly.
Yeah, nice big one.
Yeah.
I was 18 at the time, and my 16-year-old cousin was supposed to be fighting some other high school for flirting, some other high schooler flirting with his girlfriend or whatever. And he wanted to like ride his bike to his friend's house, and then his friend was gonna drive him or something. And I fought a lot in high school, and I'm like, okay, I've been there. I'll drive you. I'll make sure it goes well. Well, when we got there, there was a lot of kids, and I wouldn't even say kids because the guy that actually stabbed me had a beard. And don't get me wrong, I've seen high schoolers with beards before,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I don't know. I'm not sure if he was
Just
a
felt
kid.
like a grown ass man, huh?
Yeah, he was taller than me too. But I've also seen high schoolers that are a lot taller than me.
Yeah.
But like they started throwing rocks and stuff, and then one of my friends that was there just said run, and I had my girlfriend with me. My cousin was already in a fist fight, and I heard run. I'm like my first thought is like to look for danger. Like I can't leave, like I can't flee the situation.
If
And
you
he
don't
just
know which
starts,
way to go. Yeah.
yeah, and he
Makes
just starts
sense.
coming at me with his hand behind his back. And at this time, I mean, you hear about shootings all the time. You don't really hear about people getting stabbed a lot. So when I hear run and this guy's coming at me with his hand behind his back, I think he has a firearm. I think he's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's what the common thing popped in my head. So when he got close to me, I just kind of like started attacking him, tried to jump at him and take it from him. And I had like picked him up and tried to get him to the ground, and I felt something press into my side. And I mean, I hope nobody else has been stabbed, but if you've never been stabbed, you don't feel pain. You just feel pressure, and then you feel warm and wet. And that it was the most insane.
Did you feel cold?
No. It was.
I felt a little cold when I got stabbed in the rib one time, and it felt cold for like a millisecond. I just felt cold, like I could feel it in my body. Yeah,
that might make sense because when he first pressed it into my side, I thought he was pressing a gun into my side, and what made me like realize it wasn't was because I had felt like the wet and the warm on my side.
Mm-hmm.
And I got lucky. He went through completely in my muscle, stopped right under my rib, and touched nothing eternal. So
How deep was it?
Yeah.
It looks wide, or did you just not get any stitches or anything, and it just healed?
No. They had 3 layers of stitches in my muscle to close the muscle. And then I had 18 staples, I think. But it was a clean cut. They said they think he used like a box cutter or something like that because it was a really clean cut.
Very clean, yeah.
But no, I got really lucky. But that was at the time in my life when I realized I had to settle down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I could really like lose my life out here. Like as much as like fighting is what it is, you fight and you break your nose, you bleed a little bit. It's a fight. It's not worth my life. It's not.
No. So did he just get away with that? Do you know who it was? Any idea who it was?
You
don't gotta say it. Don't say it.
Well, no, I have an idea of who he was, but in all honesty, when it happened, we went to the kid's house, and he had us walk around the side. He didn't want to like fight in the front yard, and it just didn't sound right all around. I should have known it was a situation. But I just walked right into a bad situation. But I was scared because I was on his property. So when I went to the hospital, I had told them that I had got a new knife for Christmas. And then I tripped and like fell on my knife.
They did not believe that. I can listen to
no,
that.
They sent a cop to my house. My dog was in heat, and the room that I said that it happened in was the same room my dog was in. And I did not correlate that in my thinking, but I had told them that I was stepping over the doggy gate when it happened. Like I had the knife in my hand, and somehow I told them I don't know how I even land on it. And like I was telling them that I don't remember and all this stuff, but luckily my dog was in heat, so there was like blood droplets on the ground. So they had no idea. They knew I was lying, but they went to the place I said that it happened.
And there was blood, yeah.
So they kind of
just got lucky as fuck right there, huh?
Yeah, but because of it, they kind of just stapled me up and then just like sent me on my way. They were like, "Oh, you don't want to help us? We're gonna make sure you're alive. We're gonna send you on your way." But
Daniel made a comment here. He says, "Show the folks your heart in the fight awards."
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah, I got stabbed once. Just felt really cold. It didn't bleed much though, and maybe that's why I didn't feel the warmness. It was really cold, really quick.
Here's
There
the
it is.
stuff of the year.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I resent in, or I got resent my other one, and I didn't put it on display yet because it came like 2 weeks later, and I want to say it's in my box right here with my shirts.
Yeah, we have a few more to still send out.
Actually, I'm glad you guys said that because I have this. I have a medal from winning my one of my amateur fights. They give out like little PFL medals. They stole PFL, their Premier Fight League, not the
Professional Fight League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a good card though in Miami, and they actually are associated with Colby Covington. But I have that. I have my other one I need to put up, and then I have this all on display together. I'm glad that you guys said that, because if not, I probably wouldn't have remembered the other Heart in the Fight reward.
Yeah, future UFC fighter. You think we're gonna see you in UFC one day? Is that the goal?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't get me wrong. I would be blessed to fight for any of the big time professional promotions, but because I trained with Nico Price, my coaches have cornered in the UFC. I've been to the whatchamacallit center and everything like that. I can't think of the name of it. I really believe that I'm in the perfect position to have the connections to the UFC and everything, that as long as my career keeps going how it is right now into the future, that within 3 to 5 years I could I'm hoping honestly to get on the Ultimate Fighter. That's a goal of mine. That would be awesome because I think I have the personality for it. I'm very respectful. I'm not gonna have to do no Conor McGregor to sell a fight, but I have the personality for it. And I think opportunities like that is what really puts you on the stage. I mean, even the Dana White's Contender Series, just being in a situation to have more media on you. That's what a lot of fighters don't understand about it. And some understand it too much. Like I don't want to speak on anybody exactly because everyone has their own reasons for fighting. But there's even some street beef fighters that almost do so much theatrics, and they take so much time thinking about these theatrics, and they don't put enough time into the actual art of it. And I just think that I'm a person that really understands the balance of the business and the actual art of it, because I love both of them. I love these interviews. I have one scheduled, I think it is Tuesday of next week, and then this guy just contacted our coach about it, and because our coach knows that because of Street Beefs I've done a few, he wants to interview all of our fighters, so he's like, we're going to start with you. He told me,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he told me, he was like, I don't know how any of the other fighters are going to do on camera, but you've done this before, so we're going to start with you. I just like this stuff, man, and also like to show the appreciation to people who like you, who give us a platform to do more than just be violent, because there's more to us than the violence that we commit that everyone enjoys. We have, as you've seen me with my daughter, we have lives, we have families, some of us have hobbies, some of us just train all the time.
Are you married?
Not yet. That's something that's coming very soon.
In the making. So for just for this podcast, your wife, how does she feel about your fighting now compared to how she felt about it when you guys? How long have you guys been together?
We just had our 3-year anniversary a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so when you first started fighting and you first chose it, it's like, hey, I'm gonna hop in the ring and get punched in the face by somebody. How does she feel about that? How does she feel now?
I feel like just like how I said before, she looked at it as like rec basketball for me, like something that I do for fun, de-stress and hang out with the guys. And I think that it took her a while to really understand my true potential in it all, but she realized it before I did, because I had a closed mind on my capabilities with street beefs, which is amazing and great. They do so much for us, and I wouldn't be in the position I am today without them.
Yeah.
I was very closed-minded on it, and between her and Florida Boy and even some of the street beef guys, they really opened my mind to the fact that if I'm competing with high-level street beef guys, I can compete with some high-level amateur guys, because that's what we are.
Oh,
We're just
sure.
fighters. And then she really like pushed me to get in the gym, and I was real lazy about the gym. I was thinking that I could train myself better. I think a lot of us street beef fighters kind of undermine the principles of how a gym makes you better.
I don't know if it's mostly that we're undermining it, like as a whole. I think most people here just can't afford it. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's a couple $100 a month plus all the equipment, and then
yes,
yeah, a lot of it's a pride thing too. Like I don't want to wait for somebody else to tell me when I'm ready to fight. There's a lot of guys that sit around like that. Like I was a part of a gym 10 years ago, and that's the reason why I didn't go back. Like it's tough. Like you have to swallow your pride in there and get the shit beat out of you.
No, 100%.
My gym, I don't.
No, 100%, and I can't speak on it because I know that I'm truly blessed to have my gym. It's just full of great coaches, great guys. Like our fee is I think it's like $150 a month to train there. But if you're having personal issues, financial issues, if you're working really hard one month, coach will just tell you, you're good this month. They're so accommodating.
Was that my internet or yours? Can you guys still hear me, or is that a rep? Hello? Okay, I was just told it's his internet. His daughter is tired of not getting that attention, bro. She just pulled the plug on that mess. Well, yeah, I don't know. He should be back in a minute, but you guys definitely check him out. Check out his fight with Beach. That was such a good fight, and he won awards for that fight. So for sure. I talked to. Let's see. I don't really know what to talk about right now. Hanging tight for him. We'll message him real quick. So, yeah, all that. Let's see, future UFC fighter. Yeah, I definitely believe that we'll see him in the UFC. There's somewhere in there. Probably not for a few years in the UFC, but I think he'll make it. He's got a lot of talent. Give that a couple minutes. See what we got. What do you guys want to talk about right now? What's next for the hot box? Oh, thank you, Daniel. My brain's not working. So yeah, for anybody watching, so I don't know if you guys saw the Heat Index tournament we did last September, I believe it is. It's a 1-day boxing tournament. So everybody shows up and everybody boxes. Each fight is one round until we have a winner sitting at the top of whatever weight division it is. So July, we're doing a Heat Index tournament here, and it's going to be open signups. Everybody sign up. We'll take, 30, 50, 60 people, whatever it is, break them down in their weight classes, see what we have as far as who shows up, and then put on a boxing tournament. And it'll be 1 day. Probably depending on how many people we have, what we got going on, it's just 1 2-minute round. So it kind of forces the pace there. Like you have to go in there and try to tune your opponent up, or it's you lose.
I apologize so much. Yeah, my coach called me, and I was like trying to like let you know, but when he called, it like completely took me out. So yeah. I was like, I definitely don't want to like hang up on my coach. So I sat here for a second. I'm like, let me just talk to him real quick. I saw you like, are you coming back? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
No,
I can hang out and fumble over my words for a couple minutes. Luckily, Daniel threw me a bone there and I had something to talk about.
Yeah, good stuff, Chad.
Yeah.
Guys.
Shout out Heart in a Fight and Daniel.
Yes, sir. But let me jump to that phone call. I just got news. I'm defending the my title I just got in September. I just confirmed that I'm good with my opponent. So yes, sir.
Nice, very
Locked
nice.
in for September.
Who's your opponent? And it's a 135 title fight?
Yes, sir. His name is Jarrell Miller. I want to say he is 2-2 or 2-3 as an amateur. He's fought two of the guys I've fought. He's 1-1 against those guys, and I beat both of them. What my coach had mentioned to me is we're, of course, very confident in my grappling against him. So the game plan is, and it's kind of sad to say, but my game plan is the same for every fight. Just play long, wait till they give me the opening, take my takedown, and just find my way to their back.
Yeah, strangle them. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of the game plan for everyone.
So what's you obviously you're shooting to be a professional fighter, and I hear that a lot on this podcast. Like almost everybody's like, I'm going pro, and that's awesome. I love the ambition from everybody. But my first question when I hear that is, do you have a clear path in your brain right now of how that's going to work and what that looks like? What's that look like?
Yes, sir, I do. Me and my coaches actually have been talking about it a lot lately. Between both me and Florida Boy, he's a lot closer than I am. He's been fighting longer. But my coaches basically told me at this point I'm 5-0, and they told me if I go 5-0, I can go pro. But at this point, I've taken a lot of fights quick. I've fought 4 times already this year. I'm looking to fight again next weekend.
This year, like 2023?
Yes, I fought. My first fight was in December of last year.
Okay.
So it's been very rapid. So we agree that it's not smart for me to just go pro now. I'm looking to capture this title next weekend. I'm looking to defend my title in September, and then I'm looking to do 2 or 3, depending on the outcome of them, because I want to have a winning record. But I want to do 2 or 3 kickboxing or Thai bouts, just to get a more comfortable striking feel of things, not be so uncomfortable in bad situations in striking. Just being in those situations, I know that I will be more comfortable in the future. Just setting myself up for success. We're looking at probably like February of next year. That's just a rough estimate. I don't think it'll be any sooner than that. But I don't think it'll be very much later either. We're very confident in my grappling. I can obviously work on everything, but my cardio is great. On runs, I can keep up with Nico, and that speaks volumes to me, because I know I watch Nico work so hard in the gym, and to be able to keep up with him on our team runs and stuff, my confidence level on my physicality is out of this world, and same with grappling. And although I'm not comfortable, I'm very confident in my striking. I've seen how far I've come from even like 6 months ago, when I was still not throwing my kicks correctly and everything like that, to now. My last fight, I landed a head kick, a clean flush head kick.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. I just got ecstatic after, and threw an overhand and shot after I landed a head kick. And I always kind of like, don't talk down, but I always kind of laugh at a fighter who rocks a fighter and then shoots on him. It never really seems smart, even as a grappler, if you rock him and like have him against the cage, continue striking. But I guess being there, you learn everyone gets overzealous. When you land that one clean shot, you just kind of rush into stuff.
Okay, so let's I don't know how to frame this question, but let's say right this very second, you get a call from the UFC and they want you to fight. And they let you pick anybody at 135. Who do you want?
Rousas Jr. Because of the viral, like the media coverage of the
The
fight.
media, yeah.
Um, and I truly believe that I have a chance against him. I believe that I believe he's a timid striker. Um,
He
and
is. I can
as
see
well
that.
as I believe that he's a great grappler. I believe he depends too much on his jiu-jitsu and he loses position because of that. And because I have a wrestling base, I think that really helps me in my jiu-jitsu because I'm not even I don't even strike a lot during my grappling exchanges because I'm so big on like position and having my body weight set in certain positions. And I know if I strike, I'm gonna get rolled or something. So I
Yeah.
just believe that that's a fight that I could win. I wouldn't personally want to take it now. Give me a good like
Yeah.
12-week camp, man, and I'll be confident.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's a very, very solid choice. Like of everybody right there, like the
Yeah.
media coverage, they're going to be paying very close attention to his next fight to see if it was a fluke. Because yeah, I mean, who was it Chris Rodriguez he just fought?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
they just drug him into deep waters and tuned him up. Like
Yeah.
everybody's gonna want to know if that's a fluke or not because he did take his back and he did a really good job.
Yeah,
He
no, he
got
did in
kind
the
of
first
gassed and
round.
didn't have an answer for anything else. Yeah.
The way that I look at it is it's about how he faces the adversity. Um, like me, I used to be kind of scared of the adversity. Like once I had started fighting more talented people and started not dominating, as much as I had been kind of starting to get comfortable with, I started to like really get in my head. And I had to understand that like I'm leveling up on the people I'm fighting. So like I'm not
Hmm.
going to get dominant finishes anymore. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to like really work for it. Um, but like with that being said, I've really started to realize that like the more blocks I hit in the road, the more that I want it. Like in my last fight, I got split, and like when I saw that I was bleeding, like in between the first and second round, it just hyped me up. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
After the fight, I was a little upset. I'm like, dang, you made me bleed, man. I can't
Yeah.
let somebody make me bleed. But during the fight, it really turned me up. And then I won the second round. And then coach sat me down after the second round and was like, look, you're 1-1. If you don't go out there and finish him, you have to dominate this whole round to win. He said, if not, everything you worked for, all these weeks of hard work for this belt fighter are for nothing. And I was like, nope, can't let it slide, coach. We're gonna
Yeah.
win this one. So I went out
What's
there.
your
Go
shout
ahead.
out the name of your gym and your coach's name again? Because he sounds like a really good place to train. He sounds like a really good dude.
Yeah, man. And we always shout out to Fight Me Combat Sports. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram. Um, we have the best set of coaches. We have two boxing coaches, Coach Mike and Coach Barry. Coach Mike's our head coach. He's the one I was referring to. He's I don't know. He's just one of them guys that when he says something, 10 other guys could say it, but the way he says it just puts butterflies in your stomach and makes
Yeah.
you want to be great. But him and Coach Barry, they're old school boxing coaches, older guys. They competed in boxing for a large portion of their life. In boxing is everything to them. I mean, it's as much as they are the best and they take care of you and they make sure you're great. They tell it how it is. My first couple weeks in the gym, they just kept telling me like your striking is like it's shit. Like it's really bad. Like really bad.
Awesome.
They're like, you just keep throwing that overhand and you're putting your head down. What are you doing? They're like, you know what a jab is, buddy? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, throw a jab. They're like, that's not a jab. So
You didn't know what a
I've
jab
came a
was.
far way, but
Yeah,
it's all out of love. And I will say that they are a little bit harder on the guys who they think can take it. And there was one time in the gym that I cracked. I was going through personal stuff, and coach was being a little bit hard on me, and I let my emotions get the best of me. And he looked at me and he was like, "You need to get out of my gym right now." So I left the gym. And one of the other coaches called me and was like, "Hey, what happened?" And I told him, and I was all upset and angry. And once he calmed me down, I understood I got emotional and I was wrong. First of all, never undermine your coach, especially one that does so much for you.
Yeah.
What's up, man? But number two, like it really made me realize like how much he cared for me, because after he told me to get out of the gym, I texted him and apologized, and then we talked on the phone for a while, and he was like, "Look, man," he was like, I'm not hard on you because it's fun for me. He was like, it's not fun for me. He was like, but I'm hard on you because that's what made me be great. That's what made Nico be great, and that's like, I know the recipe for success. He was like, I mean this in the most sincere way possible, but if you want to go somewhere where they're going to be nice to you, you're not going to be successful. He was like, I can promise you success if you just trust, like you trust in me. So the next night I ended up coming back. We talked a little bit more, and then training went, and we never really spoke about it again. And then when the other coaches pulled me aside, and they're like, "You're lucky that wasn't 10 years ago, because if you would have done it 10 years ago, he probably would have just popped you in the mouth, not told you to get out of the gym." I was like, "Whew, thank the Lord."
Yeah.
But no,
Well,
they're definitely good guys. I apologize to cut you off. Those are my
no, you're
boxing
good.
coaches.
You're good.
We have Coach Demi. His Instagram is Striking Coach Demi. He's a Muay Thai coach. He's gonna be upset with me for this. I'm not exactly sure of his nationality, but he's either European or German. He's what? He's Greek, but he's from Germany, so he has like the thick accent.
Yeah.
He's the best, man. He's the best, but he's a true Thai coach. Like, he really is a true Thai coach. Like, through the grit of it and all. But he's the sweetest guy. And then Coach Spaz, he's our wrestling coach. Coach Spaz used to be a pro fighter under our head coach too back in the day and stuff. But they're just a great group of guys who have all known each other for a while through combat sports, and under Coach Mike, they just come together to build this amazing gym. When I first started training there, we were still syndicate boxing, and we just had like mats set up to like do a little bit of wrestling on. And then Coach Demi was coming in when he can to do like kickboxing work and Thai work with us. And now we have a full set schedule. We have like 20 fighters. 11 of them are previously active. We have like 8 looking to debut. It's just within the past year, we've gone from a very small gym to now us being like one of the larger, more successful gyms in the state of Florida.
Sounds like you got a good, solid program there. Like, and that's a like I said, I asked that question a lot, and that's probably the most detailed answer I've gotten. Like, I if anybody's gonna go pro around here, I definitely feel you are one of them for sure.
I appreciate
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to shout out? Oh, you know what? Actually, before we do that, Tank asked a question. Have you done any Street Beast West Coast reactions?
We have definitely. Me and Florida Boy, we were going live on Twitch every Thursday for a while. And here's the funny thing. Thursday night is Muay Thai class. After me and Joey's not our most previous fight, which we both won a belt. Well, he defended his and I won my belt. But the fight before that, our wrestling coach and our Thai coach sat us down, and they decided that we take Wednesdays off instead of Thursdays because we're amazing wrestlers, and our striking could use a little bit of work. Not that we aren't great strikers. We had a 14-second KO in his last fight, but our grappling is levels above our striking. So we stopped doing the live streams on Thursdays. It's definitely something we're interested in. We were just talking about it. We just got to pick a day. We just like to have a set day. We were doing Thursdays at 5 p.m. because if guys can get on a set schedule to come watch us, it'll be easier for them to view it. But we have, and we definitely enjoy it. We like reacting to all the other yards too, because the environments are different. In no way negative or bad, but the environments are just so different than
They really are.
in the Tampa yard, in the OG yard. it's really cool to watch, man, and it's awesome to know that there's like stuff like that going on everywhere throughout the U.S. It's not just not just Virginia. You guys are in Texas. You guys are in Washington. You know, we got guys over in California, and then not even talking about yards. There's guys asking to set up pop-up events in almost every state, trying to figure stuff out. They're coming down to Miami this month to do a pop-up event. The OG yard is so. I mean, it's awesome.
It really is. It's really dope, and every branch has their own little flavor for sure. They really do. It's cool.
Yeah.
I highly suggest if you hadn't been to them, go find an event in each branch and try to make it if you can. Even if you're not fighting, you're just showing up. It's a good time. It really is.
No, I definitely want to. I would say the only thing that has stopped me is the financials of it. But I definitely want to, and I think it would be awesome that even if and I mean it's all up to my coaches, because at this point I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a street beef fights that they wouldn't approve. They've put so much hard work and talent.
I wouldn't even do it, man.
Dedication into me. That if they wouldn't want me to do it, I wouldn't feel right going behind their back. But I know they wouldn't mind if I grappled, because I've done that recently at an event, at a Tampa event. And they didn't mind if I grappled. I would just love to come out and like get grappling work with everybody, because that's where my true heart and passion is. I love striking. Striking is truly like an art form for me, because it took me so long to do it and be good at it. In the grappling, it's like second nature to me. It's almost like I could close my eyes and grapple and just be more successful than if my eyes were open, because I could get distracted by things. But with striking, there's such a focus to it that it seems more like work for me to strike. But it also means more to me to be better at it. For grappling, I just see progress every time I roll. Every time I roll, I do something that I've never done before. And like you said, YouTube Academy, man. We just only recently started like doing jiu-jitsu work with Nico on Monday and Fridays. But before that, it really was like just watching videos on YouTube, or trying to find free instructionals, or pirated Gordon Ryan instructionals, and downloading them and watching them with Joey, and then just going and rolling and trying stuff. And you know, you do it wrong, it's not going to work, but you keep working that move, and when it finally works, you know you did it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel's shooting some questions at you. Who's your favorite street beast fighter?
Oh, gosh. I would honestly have to say Money Meal. Money Meal, the OG boxer. He's one of them guys that it's just him and Little Mac. Although no offense to Little Mac. Money Meal is just more consistent. Little Mac has been seeming to be facing more adversity lately. And all props to him, because he faces it like
Lil Mac had a death in the family though, so that's been eating him alive for months and months now. Like he's got a lot more adversity than just in the cage.
That's fully understandable. And I hate to hear that. But like I was saying, and I didn't even mean negative. Because he faces the adversity like a champion.
He really does.
He went in there and did a smoker rounds or mixer rounds with Cody. Cody Beck.
Yeah.
Gosh, man, that guy's a savage. I mean,
100 pounds heavier than him too.
Even if I was as heavy as Cody, I would want to do MMA, so I'd have the chance to dive for a leg or something, because that man can punch. But
he cracks.
He went in there and just faced
Money
the adversity like a champion.
Mac. Money Mel and Mac are two very dangerous individuals, and honestly, I'm of the opinion. I don't know if we've ever seen Little Mac go 100% and like really try to hurt somebody. I don't think we have.
I want to say I've seen him come as close to it as possible. There was a guy that was bigger than him that didn't have an opponent at the event, and they were gonna offer him Little Mac, and then Little Mac was like, nah, he's not very skilled. I don't want to hurt him. And the guy kind of got mouthy about how he was bigger and the little guy shouldn't be talking. And that's one of the guys that Little Mac has a highlight KO on. He really hit that guy with one mean overhand, and that guy went to sleep. I don't remember his name. I remember it was in the OG yard, and I was at that event.
I know which fight you're talking about, but I can't remember.
Yeah, he had some definite emotion behind that punch,
Yeah,
but he's
Lil
one of
Mac
them
is
guys
nice.
that he's just nice. He knows he could beat you skillfully and technical, so he's not
Mhm.
going to go out there and try to just
Yeah,
beat your
he just
face in.
hangs
He's just going
out.
to
Yeah.
keep touching you.
Okay, what's the best looking cage in street beefs?
Oh, to the eye, I like the hot box. I think the hot box looks and is savage with the wood and all that. Um, and I have watched a good amount of hot box fights, but I have
I
yet to
appreciate that, my
see
man. Hell
an
yeah.
MMA fight in the hot box. Do you guys do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We had.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we
Because
actually
me and
just
Joey were
released a couple.
talking about it
Yeah.
because clinching in the hot box against the cage. I'm a wall guy. I love to work off the wall. It's like another person in the cage to help me. That's the way our wrestling coach talks about it. The
Yeah,
wall. So I can,
Daniel's not wrong. You just made my day, bro. The hot box.
yeah,
That's
man.
my cage. That's my
No,
cage. I
that's
love it. Yeah.
that's the one that I'm most interested in.
Yeah.
Honestly, and no offense against Fire Chicken because he's put so much effort into his cage, but I think that's the one that I would be least excited to fight in because I've played football on turf before,
Mhm.
and turf is scary at sometimes. So that would be the one that scares
It's
me.
not. It's not bad. I fought in scrapyard. It's not terrible. It is a little slippery, but it's not bad. And
Yeah,
then the hot box has got sand. Like all the West Coast cages have sand.
yeah,
And it does get a little hard to breathe sometimes. But other than that, yeah, I prefer the sand over the turf myself.
yeah.
But it's not terrible.
There was a Tampa event that they had put mulch down, and the mulch they had put down had this dust on it.
Yeah.
And it's during the middle of each fight, like the dust would start getting in the way of the camera, and they were bringing the hose out in between rounds and like just wetting it a little bit to try to get the
Yeah.
dust to be at bay because it was so bad. And that was like the third event. The first event we were fighting in basically a mud pit. I boxed in the rain, so I've definitely seen some elements. I think that's definitely a part of street beefs that's underrated and
Oh,
that makes
yeah.
it awesome. Is
That
you're
element adds to it for sure.
yeah the
Yeah.
grittiness of it.
Yeah. The
It's just
backyard
awesome.
fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, it
There you
really
go. Yeah.
is. It really is.
Um, you want to shout out your socials before we wrap this up, my man? Tell everybody where they can find you. Any last words? All those things.
Yes, sir. You could check me out at Manu the Great official, and it's Manu Da Great DA, not the Manu the Great official on Instagram. Manu the Great on YouTube. I have TikToks too, but I'm not active on them at the moment. As to I got a new phone, and I just haven't really felt the need to download TikTok. Just stay on all my other social medias. I have a Facebook page too. And shout out to everyone showing love on my Facebook page. They just made it able to where I could make money through my reels on Facebook, and I have no idea how to do that, but that's only possible
Nice.
because people
Yeah.
show so much love and support on my stuff. But yeah, check me out, guys. I post a lot of positive content. I post cooking content. I eat very clean and healthy, and I'll give out some recipes. Um, yeah, just check it out, man. And I want to again shout out the gym. Go follow Fight Me Combat Sports. Coach is on there with content all the time, but there's always updates on our fights on Nico. Just if you're a fan, check it out. And if you're ever down in South Florida, Coach loves to have people come in. First couple classes are free to check it out. And if there's anyone watching this that lives down here, it is the gym to be at. I promise you. Coach will make you a champion as long as you're willing to put in the work. But yes, sir, I appreciate you,
Awesome.
man.
That's dope. Yeah, man. I appreciate you. I know we scheduled this a couple times and a few things popped up, but we got you on, and I appreciate you being here, man. Have
Yes,
a
sir.
have a great night, and we're gonna follow your career, all of us. So
Yes, sir.
keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. I only promise one thing, and that's hard work. Well, damn. I only promise two things, I guess, and that's hard work and greatness. And the first one comes before the second one. It takes hard work to be great, but I promise both.
All right, my man. You have a good night.
You too, man. Have a great night.
All right, bro. Later. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and yeah, we'll for sure catch you next time. Have a great night.